Hey, how's it going? I just want to do a update. I hadn't really got to update this thing because I was working really hard to get it ready for the trip on that we went on last weekend. Went to Florida and it did about uh, probably about 800 miles, 800 miles round trip, plus driving around down there. On a motor that had maybe, or the whole car, the whole thing, maybe like 50 miles on the testing it. So it did great. I didn't really have any issues aside from my collector bolts keep coming loose on my headers. Other than that, really good. Aside from this thing burning a hell of a lot of gas going down there and around, it definitely eats gas, but definitely good on the trip. So I just kind of wanted to do like basically a final walk around, and I mean it's not final because I'm still going to be doing stuff to this truck from now on, but just want to get a final kind of running and driving and where we're at, and I'm gonna get a nice, you'll get you a startup video and all that stuff. But here we go. So we'll just kind of get a little walk around. So you got the eBay front grille, eBay bumper, black on black. Got the faster than a heartbeat license plate. These are actually the Hella conversion headlights. My headlights were really bad before the trip, so I was like, instead of just replacing the glass again, I went ahead and upgraded. And some had these Hella. I think it takes it basically converts it to now it can take a H3 bulb instead of having to replace the whole glass. You're just replacing the bulb in them. They work great. I was a big improvement over what I had. You see I got hood pins in there because my hood latch was all messed up and everything. And we'll go in there in a minute and show off everything. So it's a 91 S10, originally 4.3. So it's a 4.3 with 700R. These are S15 wheels off a similar year. Sonoma, whatever the S15. These are 15 by 7s. It's a 215 70 50 in the front and a 255 50 in the back. So other than that, as you see, the side trim has come off, and I've got to take a buffer and try to buff this up, and we're going to go back and try to paint the bottom of this car black when I get done with that. The heartbeat sticker's still hanging on there. I actually put got to make a new decal for this. I'm a little off on that. It needs to be trimmed up so I could kind of straighten it out a little bit. eBay roll pan off of it, tag, old tag license plate I found, frame I found in my garage a while ago that fit pretty good on that. Here's my Instagram if anybody wants to follow that. I do a lot of photography, automotive photography, so if anybody wants to see a lot of that, it's on there. So it's Hypnotoad. Here's the battery box. So that's how we run our battery in here. This is where we went at Radwood down there as an 80s and 90s show in Amelia Island. We stayed in Jacksonville Beach and drove down there, and there was a lot of cool stuff there. So here's the other side. So like I said, pretty traditional S10, nothing too crazy on the outside right now. I do want to do probably a fiberglass hood at some point, and I don't know what else. Maybe a bed cover. I don't know. So the interior, so pretty stock interior, crank windows. Got these nice checkered floor mats. This is a Autometer, I think 2300 gauge. It works real nice. Try to grab my keys real quick. So it's got nice or it's got the little thing where you can set the it's not a rev limiter, but just set like a red line or whatever. It goes on nice. Still got factory radio, but have Bluetooth installed in there. This is a TCI fastgate shifter. It's worked really well. I like this shifter a lot. Been driving it with the issues I've had a little bit with the transmission. This thing's been working great. This seat cover is also an eBay seat cover that's supposedly made for an S10, and it fit pretty good. I'm not too mad about it. I had a blue, the blue seats, and they were just pretty worn out and faded and looked rough. So it did pretty good. As you see, I still got no cracked dash in here or anything. Do not have a speaker in that one, found that out. This one does work okay, so it did have some radio on the way down there. So, no problems with that. Grant steering wheel, I'm not sure the part number on this one, and also using a Grant hub, so it does stick out a little bit. So if you're somebody that's a little weight challenged, then you might want a quick release or something like that if you're running something like that in here. And here you go, nice. This is all still pretty clean. Pretty much nothing too much back here. So I guess we'll, go ahead and pop the hood. All right, let's go ahead. Go ahead and pop the hood. Here you go. So as you see, we got AC heat delete on this. None of that. This is a 355, so just 30 over 350. Has it's about 10.2 to 1 compression. Ratio. The cam is a Summit grind. I can't remember. I think it's like 2208 or something. I don't remember the exact number, but it's a like a 218 intake, 227 on exhaust, and it has 1.6 rockers, comp rockers, and I think it puts it up at about 570 lift, 560, 570 on a 112 or 113 LSA. I can't remember exactly. So it sounds nice. It sounds really good, and it's a very nice street driving. This thing drives great, for a little hot rod. It's got a Performer RPM. Don't have an air gap, it's just a Performer RPM. Edelbrock valve covers. This is basically a mostly comp valve train inside. I think trick flow push rods. It's a Brawler 750. Brawler 750 carb. Had some using 4.3. These are original 4.3 serpentine setup. This worked pretty good. Like, it really didn't give me any problems. Underdrive on the crank pulley. AC. I stuck an AC delete pulley in here instead of. Did have some trouble trying to figure out the belt situation a little bit. Still using the regular coolant style neck. And this just kind of works pretty good. It just kind of bends out of the way and does fine with that. Still have power steering. Down here, factory power steering. That's worked well. Factory 4.3 radiator. Do have a pusher fan on the front, which worked great down there in Florida. Got warm, everything. This thing never really went over 180 degrees in there, so great on that. This does have a... I'll see if I can get down there and show you in a minute. But so did have to cut up this hood some to get this all to work. Mostly this tensioner was hitting, and the alternator had a little bit of hitting here, and also on the air cleaner. Had to raise this up a little bit too, because air cleaner was running into the distributor back here. So had some problems with that. So mechanical fuel pump on this. I think this is a Procom for Speedmaster. Plug wires. These are Headman Headman shorty headers. This is a 2.5 inch dual to a. You kind of see this a little bit down here, maybe. This is a 2.5 dual in, 1 out, 3 inch Dynamax Super Turbo. Sounds really good. I didn't have any drone problems going down the highway, so that was great. So, brake system's pretty much, still try to clean up some of this wire and make it not look so bad. This is a Holley steering rack. Works really good. Gives you a little more room in there instead of the factory one. You don't have to have this, I think, with the small block, with the regular Gen 1 stuff, but it definitely makes it a lot better. Low car throttle cable and everything on this. Had to make braided lines for the transcooler down here. Had to make braided lines for this. The 700's done okay. It's had some issues. It's I think the cable, I don't know if there's something wrong with the cable or whatever, but it's wanting to shift too early. You put it in manual and you drive it like that, it does okay. It's handled some abuse pretty well. I've beat on it a little bit, and it's done pretty good. The 1-2 shifts real hard in it, like it almost has a C4 servo already in it. I have one and a Transgo shift kit for this thing for manual hold and all that. Just didn't have time to throw it in before the trip. My buddy's finishing up his car right now that's on his lift with his C3. So once he gets done with that, we'll probably throw this back up there and work on this transmission a little bit and get it going a little bit. I did replace polyurethane like bushings and stuff on the sway bar, but this is the Hamburger S10 oil pan. Definitely recommend that. Tried to do a factory pan and had a lot of problems. I had a lot of problems getting this motor in, period. I think I had the wrong adapter plates versus everything I was doing. So you make sure you get a combination that works really well together, because I think that was one of my big problems with it. Is basically I was kind of fighting myself. We made it work, but the motor probably sits up a little bit higher than it would have with a different mounting setup. But all in all, it's been great. It's really fun. I'm about to put in a wideband in it too, and then we can tune it and hopefully maybe pick up a little more power. See what else is in it. But I'll go ahead and we'll get a crank up video and everything, and you can check it out. All right, appreciate it.